Students at Richland Northeast High School got a chance to meet an American hero. Sergeant First Class Melvin Morris Sr. is a Medal of Honor recipient.
I'm very proud to be a recipient of Medal of Honor. The feeling is great. And it's changed my life quite a bit because it seemed like I found a new purpose in life.
That new purpose in life comes some 40-plus years after Morris did what some may consider the unthinkable.
During combat operations against an armed enemy in the vicinity of Chi Lang, Republic of Vietnam, on September 17, 1969. On that afternoon, Staff Sergeant Morris's affiliated companies encountered an extensive enemy minefield and were subsequently engaged by a hostile force. Staff Sergeant Morris learned by radio that a fellow team commander had been killed near an enemy bunker, and he immediately reorganized his men into an effective assault posture before advancing forward and splitting off with 2 men to recover the team commander's body. Observing the maneuver, the hostile force concentrated its fire on Staff Sergeant Morris's 3-man element and successfully wounded both men accompanying him. After assisting the 2 wounded men back into forces lines, Staff Sergeant Morris charged forward into withering enemy fire with only his men's suppressive fire as cover. While enemy machine gun emplacements continuously directed strafing fusillades against him, Staff Sergeant Morris destroyed the positions with hand grenades and continued his assault, ultimately eliminating 4 bunkers. Upon reaching the bunker nearest the fallen team commander, Staff Sergeant Morris repulsed the enemy, retrieved his comrade, and began the arduous trek back to friendly lines. He was wounded 3 times as he struggled forward, but ultimately succeeded in returning his fallen comrade to a friendly position. Staff Sergeant Morris's extraordinary
enemy popped up in front of me, shot me in the chest. And I went down and I had to crawl back up against a tree. And I started checking, and it's very important for you to learn what you need to learn, and that's your first aid. And I started checking for a second chest wound, and I didn't have an exit point in my back, but I had bubbles coming out of my chest. So I knew I had to fix that. And you gotta remember, at the same time, the enemy is trying to get me, and they are trying to shoot the tree down that I was behind. And I only had like 1 hand grenade left, and I threw that at one of them. But when I threw that, I got shot again. And this time I shot in the right hand. And I managed to get my weapon back, and I was able to effectively fire and get out of there. But you know, your mind is really clicking and doing what you have to do. And you don't feel pain. You don't feel pain. You feel the need to live. That's what you do.
One can better understand the drive that Morris has. And now one of his biggest quests is to get a message out to young people.
Look, my goal is, which I've been working hard for the last 2 years, is to be able to reach out to all of the schools as possible. Because I realize that these young students need someone to look up to, and they need someone that recognizes them. And I consider myself sort of like a mentor, and I give them some information they're not getting. They need to see a real person. And you know, books and movies are good, but they need to see a real person. And that's what I do. That's one of my goals.
What students are seeing, what we are all seeing, is a true American hero. Sergeant First Class Melvin Morris Sr., thank you, sir, for your continued service to our country.